Hey YouTube, this is Lovely Natural. Okay, so I'm gonna try my best to make this a quick-ish and concise video. So this video is going to be just a few tips on how to maintain your twists and braids, as well as, if I have time, just a few of the benefits of actually wearing twists and braids. So here we go. Tip number one. In order to maintain your twists and braids, the actual process starts before you even twist or braid your hair. I think just part of it is have a plan. Have a plan for your twist or braids. You need to know how long you want them to last, because depending on how long you want them to last is, going to determine the quality, how small or large you do them. Generally, if you're doing just a shorter term protective style, if you want your twist to only last maybe a week or two, then you can make them a little bit larger. It's okay if those parts aren't as definite. That's not going to be a big deal, because usually you might wash them once or twice within there, but it's not a big deal. However, when you want them to last longer, like 3 to 4 weeks, parting becomes more important. The size of your twist or braids does become more important. So having a plan, just make sure that you don't, just have these unrealistic expectations for your hair. All right. Tip number 2. Okay, so make clear and concise parts. Like I said, it's not as big of a deal if you're not going to keep your twists in that long, but still, your hair looks neater and it leaves room for you to wash your hair. If your hair is like crisscrossed and parted, and some of the hair is blended over here to this twist, to this braid, it may not be a problem when you're wearing them, but when it's time to wash them or moisturize them, you're gonna risk a lot of tangling, a lot of matting, and a lot of breakage at the root, which is actually really, really bad. We always talk about breakage at the ends, but we never really address it at the root. And you don't wanna deal with that. So definitely make clear, concise parts. Okay. All right, tip number 3, detangle your hair. This applies to really both twists and braids, but especially braids. Like right now, my hair is in very small braids. I'd almost dare to call them mini, but I don't want to think about that, because I just don't want to think about it when I have to take them out. But detangle your hair. I'm talking detangle, with a deep conditioner in, detangle in the shower, detangle before you twist your hair. I don't care, like with these, I did them on stretched hair. So yes, my hair was dry, but I sprayed it with a little water, like on my hands, and ran it through it and ran the product through, and I detangled with a wide tooth comb. I know some of you don't really like to detangle that much with tools. However, since I had already detangled with my deep conditioner and in the shower, by the time I got to using the wide tooth comb, it wasn't a big deal. But the thing is, when you detangle your hair, first of all, your braids and your twists look better. They lay smoother and flatter. As well as, it's so much easier to braid or twist because you're not constantly catching kinks and knots and tangles in your hair. Your hair just cooperates better, it lasts longer, and when it's time for the takedown, you don't have nearly as much hassle. So that is a really, really, really big thing to remember. All right, so we said have a plan. I said detangle. I said parts. What else? Moisturize. There we go. Tip number 4, moisturize your hair. One of the benefits of, wearing twister braids, which I'll address later, is the fact that, it's a low manipulation style. Now, because it's a low manipulation style, you're not constantly combing, brushing, or having to do any of that to your hair. However, don't forget that you still have to moisturize your hair. Your ends are exposed, regardless if you wear it in a bun sometimes and keep it pinned up and whatnot. You do have to periodically moisturize your hair because it will dry out. And I think a lot of people forget that. So if you just don't moisturize your hair while it's in twist or braids, and then when it's time to take it out, your hair is going to be exceptionally dry. It's going to reverse any benefit that you might have gained from actually wearing the twist or the braids. Side note, I'll try to maybe insert it here. This only applies, I won't even say only, it mostly applies if you're like me. This is my real hair. So now if you're wearing braids or twists with extensions, you don't have to worry about your ends drying out as much. It's still important to moisturize your hair, but it's not going to get as dry as like with your natural hair. That's just a disclaimer. Normally my moisturizing routine consists of maybe every 3 to 4 days spraying my hair with water on the ends. I usually just put water on my hands and run it towards the root. A quick tip: if you find your roots frizzing out a little bit too much, try not to get your roots as wet unless you're washing your hair. When you're just doing your daily moisturizing, mostly just concentrate on the ends, and you can run a little water along your scalp. As well as if you're like me and you suffer from extremely like itchy, dry scalp, or if you don't deal well with buildup like I don't, definitely avoid putting a lot of product on your roots. Just don't do it. I mean, I've noticed that after I've used this tea tree shampoo now for a while, that my scalp really doesn't get dry. It's just a matter of me not putting more product on there to cause that itching, and you know, because the tea tree has fixed the dry scalp and the flaking part. So big thing, just moisture. Just spray your ends with water. You can seal it in with some oil, or you can use some shea butter, just any sort of sealant, like creamy sealant on your ends to keep the moisture in there. Let's see, tip number 5, which actually is one of the most important, would be to set your hair at night. When I say set your hair, like this right here, the reason my hair is wavy is because I did 2 fishtail braids. But it doesn't have to be fishtail braids. It can be regular braids. Set your hair some twist, wrap your hair, flexi rod your hair. Set your hair in some sort of way, especially when moisturizing it. It just keeps everything together, as well as, you know, it just keeps your hair from frizzing out. And wear that satin cap. I mean, the satin pillowcase is good. I have it as a backup, like when I'm pineappling my hair and stuff, to preserve curly styles. However, if you're like me, my blanket is usually over my head like a hood by the end of the night, and then that defeats the purpose of your satin pillowcase. So if you can, wear a satin cap or a satin scarf. Keep your twists and braids protected at night to cut down on that frizz, because it will lay every stray strand in place for you. So I think those are just my big 5 tips. I try to insert them in to reiterate that number 1 was concise parting. Number 2, detangle your hair. Number 3, let's see, hold on, wait. Parting, detangling, okay, scratch that. All right, parting, detangling, moisturizing, have a plan, and tie your hair down with a satin cap or set your hair at night. I'll put them in some sort of correct order. Don't judge me, y'all. I have a bad memory. Don't judge me. But those are really 5 really good tips. I'm gonna edit this video. I refuse to reach 10 minutes. I'm not doing it. Okay, and last but not least, benefits of braids and twists. It's a low manipulation hairstyle. You don't have to comb your hair, brush it. It keeps, even when your hand's in your hair, it's not necessarily breaking individual strands. These braids and twists are stronger because they're more than one strand together, and that's really important. That way I can touch my hair and not be the end of the world. For me also, personally, it's a lot easier to protective style when I have my hair in braids or twists. Because for me, doing a bun, doing the pin styles, fishtail braids, just doing different styles like that, it's easier for me because this thins out my hair, believe it or not. I still have a ton of hair, but it thins out my hair enough and makes these like my individual strands, which is why long term down the line, I could see locks definitely in my future when I get older, because it's just easier to manage. So, as well as it's easy to moisturize. So those are just a few of the benefits, you know, and with the less manipulation, the easy moisturization and all that stuff, you usually get a lot more hair growth. A lot of people ask me, how have I grown my hair? Literally, that is it. Twists and braids. They are my go-to. It does take longer to do because of how small I do them, but that is what's grown my hair out. I'll be 3 years natural this May. this May, and I think I'm almost mid-back. I know I'm past bra strap. I think I'm almost mid-back. So just keep that in mind. You know, there's lots of benefits. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, put them in the description box below. And that is it. I'm getting off of here. God bless y'all.